President Trump announced to step out from the agreement in June 2017, but UN regulations meant that his decisions only takes effect on the day after the US election. The delay happened due to the complex rules that were built into the Paris Agreement to deal with the possibility that a future US president might decide to withdraw the country from the deal. Firstly, what is the Paris Climate Agreement? Well, the deal unites all the world's nations in a single agreement on tackling climate change for the first time in history. Its key elements were to keep global temperatures below 2 degrees centigrade above pre-industrial times and try limiting them even more to 1.5 degrees centigrade. To limit the amount of greenhouse gases emitted by human activity to the same levels that trees, soils and oceans can absorb naturally, beginning at the same point between 2050 and 2100. To review each country's contribution to cutting emissions every 5 years, so they scale up to the challenge for rich countries to help poor nations by providing climate finance, to adopt to climate change and switch to renewable energy. So regardless of these positive measures, why Trump pulled off the Paris Agreement, and why was he right about that, and also what could be the consequences of stepping out of this agreement? The Paris Agreement, which committed the US to drastically reducing greenhouse gas emissions, was truly a bad deal, bad for American taxpayers, American energy companies, and every single American who depends on affordable, reliable energy. If carried out, the energy regulations agreed to in Paris by the Obama administrations would destroy hundreds of thousands of jobs, harm American manufacturing, and destroy $2.5 trillion in gross domestic product by the year 2035. In withdrawing from the agreement, Trump removed a massive barrier to achieving the 3% economic growth rates. Some supporters of the Paris Agreement are saying that withdrawing presents a missed opportunity for energy companies. Others are saying that it doesn't matter what Trump does. The best way for American companies to be competitive is to be innovative and competitive in marketplace, not building their business models around international agreements. The market for energy is $6 trillion and projected to grow by a third by 2040. This doesn't mean that US has left the agreement, therefore it will not be working in for new innovation energy projects. But what could be the consequences? First, global warming will be intensified after the US withdraws from the Paris Agreement, putting China under greater ecological vulnerability and climate risks. The United States is the second largest emitter worldwide, behind only China. China is one of the countries that is most vulnerable to climate change, and US withdrawal from the agreement is a heavy blow to the global efforts against climate change. It will make the consequences of global warming more disastrous, and as a result, China's ecological vulnerability and climate risk will increase markedly. The truth is, we humans only think about our own selves. We are running in a race that will eventually end up taking our own lives. Climate change is the major consequence. The graphs are getting more and more red. In 2019, the world was emitting 50% more CO2 than in the year 2000. The more richer and developed we are, the more emissions our lifestyle produces. Countries around the world and their citizens will grow and become richer. And the rich countries will continue to grow their wealth, and growth is coupled with CO2 emissions. By year 2050, every season in every city and town in America will shift drastically, as in average temperatures creep up along with highs and lows. Some of these changes, like summers in the southwest warming by 4 degrees Fahrenheit on average, will mean stretches of days where it's so hot it will be dangerous to even go outside. Well, that sounds like another story of why.